Guys, I'm currently in Cannock Chase at what we'll call Pigman's Lair. So let's get into it.
This is the story of the gruesome Pigman, something that's lingered in the shadows of Cannock Chase for decades, spoken about in quiet conversations passed between friends, and still, even now, mentioned by people who swear they've seen something they can't explain. It's not tied to just one place either, with spots like Pye Green Tower often being mentioned as one of several locations where something strange has been reported, especially once the light starts to fade and the chase begins to feel very different to how it does in the day. The stories themselves tend to circle around the same description: a tall figure built like a man, but with the unmistakable head of a pig. Not something vague or shadowy, but something people describe in detail, with a snout, ears and a shape that doesn't quite belong in the middle of the chase, moving just through the trees or standing just far away so that you can't quite make sense of what you're looking at. And that's where the story starts to split, because depending on who you ask, the pigman is either something far stranger or something far more deliberate. Now, some say that what people saw wasn't a creature at all, but the result of a military experiment and something that went wrong, something that should have never existed outside of controlled conditions, and yet somehow found its way out onto the chase, left to wonder and seen only in glimpses, and never properly explained. And then there's another version, one that feels just as believable in its own way, that the pigman wasn't real at all, at least not in the way that people think, and instead was something that was created on purpose, a story or a rumour, something spread to keep people away from certain areas while the army carried out training that they didn't want interrupted. Because if you can convince people that there's something unnatural out there, most people won't go looking for it. And when you think about it, Cannock Chase is exactly that kind of place where a story like that would take hold. Because it's vast, it's quiet, and once you're in deep enough, it doesn't take much for your surroundings to start playing tricks on you. Especially at night, when every sound carries further and every moment feels like it means something more. Over the years, people have continued to report seeing things they can't explain. Strange shapes moving between the trees and figures standing where no one else should be. And every now and then someone describes something that fits the same image, the same outline, and the same unnatural combination of a man and an animal that's been talked about for generations. And whether those sightings are real, imagined, or something in between, the fact that the story has lasted this long says something in itself, because most rumours fade and most stories get forgotten. But this one hasn't. This one stayed just present enough, just believable enough to keep people talking, because the truth is nobody has ever proven what the pigman is, or if it was ever anything at all, but at the same time, nobody has ever fully explained it away either. And that's what makes it stick, because when you're out here, especially as the light starts to drop and the paths begin to empty, it doesn't feel like a story anymore. It feels like something that could just be out of sight, just far enough away so that you wouldn't notice it straight away. So the question is, when all these stories started coming out, were people really seeing something that shouldn't have existed out here on Cannock Chase? Or were they seeing exactly what they'd already been told to expect? Or was it just the story of another swine in the forest?